In this chapter of Phalcon, we'll focus on two things. First is about the routing and the second is about the database configuration. Like we saw only with the adapters of MySQL, let's check it out what different type of the database configuration which is available in Phalcon. The router component allows you to define the routes that are mapped to the controllers or handlers that should be able to receive the request. The routes.php, that is the router component. It's nothing but a router component because here you can see it calls for the class Phalcon MVC router. So it implies that it is a router component. It allows you to define the routes that are mapped within the particular component. A router, what it does, it just passes the particular URI as a information received. Every router in the web applications has like two modes. One is the MVC mode and next is the match only mode. So the first one, that is the MVC mode, is idle for the routers. So here I have added a particular router. The syntax is nothing but $router. There is a variable name, add with the particular function and with what controller is used with the action what is to be implemented. So here the router, it is like controller is users, action implemented was login. If you remember, for the users controller which we created, it was called as the login action, which implies that the suffix action should be used with the router component. So once you run for this particular project, you will get it like that. The main thing is being called as the login function which is being implemented. If I log it out, I am again back to the same pavilion. So if you want to call for the particular function and the routing thing, you need to define the routes.php inside the config folder, which will define all the necessary output which is to be done. So that was regarding routing a particular component. If you check it out over here, if I say $users and I say index, for example, so it again goes to the login page only because I have by default defined it as a router. Like if you call for this function, you should definitely redirect to the login page. If the user is logged in, then he will be redirected to the whatever the necessary page which is being required. So this was about the routing configuration of Phalcon. The next thing is about database configuration. We saw that one database adapter is present over here, that is MySQL. We saw for the connectivity over here was adapter MySQL. So if you wanted for different type of the adapters or something, we'll focus on three different things. First is PostgreSQL, second is SQLite, and third is like Oracle. So how it is being done over here only, we'll check it out for the configuration, or it can be defined over inside the services.php. So in SQL or config.php, I will mention in this format, like it will be in this way, like $config. It's better to use in small letters. $config equal to, here I'll mention the host name, that is host, and that will be nothing but whatever the host name I just want to say. For example, now I'll say localhost. Okay. The next comes is DB name. That will be the associated DB. For now, I'm giving test. And next comes the port name, which is associated to your DB. So it will be port 5232. This is the port name of the PostgreSQL. Next comes is username. That is root and password. So password for now is blank. Now I will define this in a particular way. So that is defined over here. But inside the SQL thing that it has been integrated, we need to specify some kind of class. So that is done with the help of use Phalcon DB adapter PDO PostgreSQL. So this will imply me that the class has been implied successfully and these parameters have been done. So this was about the PostgreSQL thing. If you do it for SQLite, it will be in the similar manner. The only thing it will be like Phalcon DB adapter PDO and the name will be for SQLite. So that will be like in this way. I will just show it. It will be implemented in SQLite format. If you want to show it for Oracle, in the end you will specify Oracle. So again I'll show it in Oracle, the end termination. That use implies that we are calling for the particular parent class of the terminologies. So for SQLite, you will just say $connection new SQLite. I'll show you the syntax over here. It will be $connection. So this is my connection variable equal to new, and the class name I'll call, that is SQLite. SQLite 3 is the latest thing, so I'll mention for SQLite over here. And there I'll specify the DB name. So where the DB name is will give me the complete location. So I'll say DB name and it will be tmp my test.sqlite. So I'll define in this particular format. So this is a way of defining it in SQL thing. So that's all for understanding with respect to database configuration for PostgreSQL and SQLite. If you need to do it for Oracle, you will call for that particular class and specify the configuration parameters in this similar manner. So in this way, various type of configurations can be achieved in Phalcon. So that's all for understanding different configurations. Another important thing which is to be understood is that whenever we configure the database, we need to always test it whether it has been connected properly or not. Obviously, the error will be thrown if the database has not been connected, but still it will be a greater practice if we test it before making a complete application or starting up with the web application process.